What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. Now, listen, this video is a little different. It's a quick drop, but it's a little something different. Over the last week or so, we've had a lot of information going on as far as Young Thug and YFN Lucci and all that good stuff. And for people like myself who are a little bit older, who probably aren't up on the ins and the outs of all this situation, it was a lot of information that I just did not know. So I watched a couple of videos that gave you like the history of why Young Thug and YFN Lucci don't rock with each other and they don't get along, and the fact that this beef has been going on for years. So now that YFN Lucci is currently locked up, and the fact that Young Thug just got arrested, and there was a whole thing about them being in the same location and some attempts on people's lives, it was a lot that I was like, what in the world? So I'm gonna give y'all the Cliff Notes version, and what I'm gonna do is put the links to a couple of videos in the description box that I watched. So if y'all want the long version, y'all can go watch those videos like I did. But here's the Cliff Notes to let you kind of understand where, why, who, what, when. So Young Thug and FNY Lucci, they are both from Atlanta, right? They are from separate neighborhoods that are a couple of blocks. Blocks separate them. Both of them have ties to, this is all allegedly, everything I'm saying is allegedly, because I'm getting, this is information that's on the streets. Allegedly, both of them have ties to the Blood Gang, right? We know the Bloods and the Crips. They have, both of them have ties to the Blood Gang. Just because I have on red, it means nothing. I don't have no ties to nobody, okay? Young Thug is from the Jonesboro projects in Zone 3 of Atlanta. I'm sure that means something to the people who live in Atlanta. And then, let me look at my notes, child. YFN Lucci is from the Summer Hill hood. YFN, which is there, Lucci says it's not a gang. Okay? Let's be clear. Young Thug says that YSL is not a gang, and Lucci says that YFN is not a gang. But the police said that it absolutely is. The police even allege that YFN is a branch of the Crips, of the Bloods, and that Lucci was the head of that particular branch. That's what the police are saying, okay? But again, both of them say that it is not. YSL actually is a record label that Lucci, Thug, y'all don't get mad at me because I'm getting it messed up. Thug started YSL, and it's actually his record label, and he has actually put a lot of his friends on. He said his goal was to make sure that all his friends was rich, okay? Young Thug rose through the, he's the third youngest out of 11, and basically allegedly all his brothers and sisters was kind of in that life, and so he was sort of in that life. In 6th grade, I believe it was, he broke his teacher's arm, and had to go to juvie for a little while. And while he was in juvie, unfortunately, he just became a better hood, right? He started rapping and he rose through the ranks. I'm not gonna get into his whole rap career again. Y'all can look at the longer video and get all of this mixtape dropped here and that mixtape. He rose in the ranks, and I first became aware of Young Thug on his album cover where he had on the dress, and it was so controversial, okay? But in one of the videos I watched, they said that he was always a different style dresser. He was always very eccentric, for lack of a better word, in his dress. So that wasn't anything new for him to do that. Later on, when he got some criticism about the dress, he said he had the dress on or the skirt on because he was hiding his AK-47, okay? I won't dare. I don't know what was under the skirt, okay? Now, same thing with YFN Lucci. He played football. But he said after football practice he'd be out there in them streets. His brother YFN Red, I think, encouraged him to rap, and his best friend's older brother, a man by the name of Big Nut, who was also connected to the Bloods. Everything was cool until Big Nut was murdered. And that's when the beef sort of, according to my research, that's when the beef started. That's when there was a whole lot of problems. So Big Nut was murdered. Um, it was a drive-by shooting in front of a barbershop. 3 people were shot. He was killed. I think it was a 14-year-old boy was also shot in that situation. As a result of this murder, which still, as of the video that I watched, has not been solved, rumor on the street, word on the curb, what was being said is that YSL has something to do with it. And therein lies the beef. YFN Lucci, that was his mentor. That was one of his, good friends. And so when the rumors started about who was responsible and the fact that they thought it was the YSL crew was responsible, that is where things fell apart. Now, from there, there's a whole lot of back and forth, right? YFN Lucci's house got shot up. Things happen on the streets. Okay, again, if you want all of the details, you gotta go watch the video that I'm gonna drop. But things happen on the streets. But where it started spilling over into social media was that YFN Lucci posted about, he started posting tweets and things that basically he was insinuating that he had slept with or was sleeping with Young Thug's fiance. Her name is Jerica. He was atting Young Thug. He was hashtagging Rika, saying, and then he put something out there saying, if y'all get me to 100,000, over on Twitter, I'll drop the text messages. And so he did drop some text messages between him and another woman, but nobody could verify whether that was actually her phone number or not. She says it wasn't her. She says she didn't mess with that man. She ain't had nothing to do with it. And that was that. But of course, that escalated the beef. Now, I'm going to read y'all. Now, I'm going to get into my notes because I want to make sure I'm saying everything that I have to say. YFN Lucci also posted a picture of Young Thug's daughter, wishing her a happy birthday, which, of course, again, pushed things over the edge. Now, Young Thug released one of his albums, mixtapes, on Tupac's birthday. He said he did it because he's calling himself the new Tupac. YFN Lucci tweeted, Tupac would not wear a skirt. And of course, therein, they end up going back and forth on social media again. YFN Lucci's car gets shot up. The person, he wasn't in the car at the time, but the person who was in the car did get shot, not fatally. Then Big Nut's grave was desecrated with slang that is connected to YSL. So again, it reignites this whole beef situation. There were a couple of incidents at Lenox Mall that made it into people's lyrics of their songs, where they reference what happened down to Lenox Mall. Young Thug posted on, and then it seems like Young Thug was the first one to sort of start making very specific threats, but don't quote me on that either. Young Thug posted, if I didn't like what you do for your mom and kids, I would have been killed you. Then there was the second incident down to Lenox Mall. Yak Gotti, who was a part of YSL, he actually took a picture, posted on Instagram, of him standing on top of YFN Lucci's car in the parking lot at the mall. Now, YFN Lucci said, hey, bruh, I saw you and we was cool. We dapped up and everything, and then you posted this picture. That's real, that's some real BS for you to do that. Then, a member of YFN Lucci, somebody connected to YFN, got their chain snatched, and a member of YSL posted it on social media of him with the chain. Now, y'all know in street culture, in hip-hop culture, somebody snatching their chain, that is serious, and y'all know where that goes. Now, in January of 2021 is where YFN Lucci gets he gets arrested. He was accused of being the driver in a drive-by, and then he later on got a RICO case. Now, he was released on bond, but the dummy violated his bond by going to the studio and then going to the script club, the same script club that is allegedly connected to the drive-by that he's being charged with, dummy. So now his lawyer wanting him to get out, and I'm like, but you got out. Like, you blew it. You had the opportunity to get out. Anyway, now we know that YFN Lucci has already been assaulted in jail, and allegedly there was a second attempt to be made that was supposed to be coming from YSL, aka Young Thug. And then we know that after all of this happened, Young Thug in an interview said that he's over it. He don't have no more beef. He's done with it. He said after Nipsey, he's done with the beef. He's done with all of that. But of course, we know what has happened over the last week. I've been doing videos on it ever since Young Thug got arrested. So if you, like myself, were a little concerned, I mean, not concerned, but a little confused and wasn't quite sure how all these people were connected, that is a brief history. Like I said, there are longer videos that get into all of the specific dates and years, and this happened and that happened and this was said. They show you the tweets. They show you I ain't getting all of that. I'm just giving y'all the Cliff Notes version. Remember when you was in school and you didn't read the book, you just read the Cliff Notes? Well, that's the Cliff Notes version. I recommend you still read the book. So that's why y'all gonna get the videos. But there it is. Leave it in the comments. Peace.